Okay, good week of work, and then we'll get on the bus tomorrow, head to Detroit. Excited about the challenge. So we've talked all week. Really good football team that we're playing. They have, they're very well coached. I have a lot of respect for their entire staff, but some impressive group on offense, on defense, special teams. So we got to be at our best going on the road and find a way. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Did you practice yesterday thinking the game would be moved inside? Did that mean much, if so?
I knew that was a possibility yesterday while we were practicing, yes.
Change a whole lot about what you would have done
No.
at that stage?
No. We practiced inside today.
And you said you guys are going to bust to Detroit.
We are.
What changes between, preparing for an outdoor game where you don't know what the elements can be and then moving inside to it?
Yeah, I mean, you adjust. There's some things that early on we talked about having offensively, defensively for the weather conditions, some personnel groupings, plays, those type of things that you probably aren't going to get to in this type of game now that it's in a dome or indoor, I should say. But plenty of lead time to make adjustments there.
To minimize this as a distraction from the standpoint that we're playing at 1 o'clock on Sunday, it's just the bus is going in a different direction.
Yeah, I really don't think it's a distraction at all. I think the guys will go step onto a bus and end up in Detroit.
Do you think all the COVID stuff the last couple of years has made you guys more, willing to go with the flow in these kind of things and adjust on a whim?
Yeah, it could be. I think it really falls in the bucket of control the things you can control. And certainly we learned that, the whole league and probably the whole world learned that in COVID, like you mentioned. So just going to control what we can control.
Kevin, we don't have the whole injury report, but Greg was added to it. Did something happen to him today?
Yeah, he had a collision with a teammate, so he's getting evaluated for concussion, and we'll see where it goes.
And then David out there the last couple of days. How did he look? I know you're hopeful during the week. You think he'll be able to go?
Yeah, I think he's progressing. I think you want to take the time here over the next couple hours, couple days, but he's progressing. I'm going to protect the names of the innocent, but it happens. You're going full speed, so hoping that he's okay, but we'll see.
A late injury like that, how does it potentially, impact what you
Yeah, it's
need to
happened
do?
before, and like we've talked about, Mary Kay, you get injuries sometimes in pregame. You get injuries in the first quarter, third quarter, early in the week, late in the week. You just got to adjust.
When something like that happens, how nice is it for you guys that you've had Martin Emerson emerge this season and step in there and do well?
Yeah, I think just in total, the DBs are competing like crazy. I think it's a really good group. They're very competitive at practice, work extremely hard. So I think that whole group understands the challenge that this week in particular presents.
Do you feel like the indoor track favors one team or another?
I don't know, Mary Kay. I think it's so hard to say. You got to be ready to play outdoors, in great weather, and then sometimes it's raining and snowing, and you go indoors. So it's football, but I don't know who that favors.
How dynamic is that Bills offense, though? When there's no conditions and Josh is able to throw it whenever he wants, and you got those guys on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, you got to defend their attack. Obviously, I don't care what the conditions are. It's a difficult attack to defend, and I think really the focus for us goes back to making sure we're sound in everything we're doing. From a rush plan, from a coverage plan, we just got to be sound.
Yesterday, he had mentioned that he gets the criticism externally and things like that. And he said some of it might be even warranted to a little bit of a degree. Just how do you think he's been holding up or handling things and that?
Yeah, I think, as we've talked about before, as coaches, we really keep our head down and focus on trying to get better. I see that from Joe. I see that from all of our coaches. I see that from our team. You obviously want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to go find ways to win football games. And you got to grind, and the game's a grind, and the week's a grind, and that's kind of where we are.
Have you found yourself maybe trying to help out on that side of the ball in recent weeks? I know I asked you about that a couple weeks ago, but now we're down the road a little bit. Have you been a little more involved in the defense?
You know, I've always spent a good amount of time with the defense. You know, I have to be intentional about how I split my day up, so to speak. So talk to Joe and the defense staff every day. And again, like we talked about, anything that we're trying to fix, we got to be problem solvers, and that's what we're trying to do.
The Bills didn't practice today because guys couldn't get to the thing or to the practice facility, and they don't know when they're going to be able to fly out. How much attention do you pay to that?
Not much. I mean, I think, you know, to Ashley's point before, you saw many examples over the years. We went through it where you don't get to practice, and, you know, as many of the players reminded me when we won those games, that practice is overrated.
They're calling for the Bills Mafia to come out. Do you have any requests for Browns fans to come on up to Detroit?
Well, you know, I'm as curious as anybody about what that's going to look like and who's going to be in that stadium and how full it's going to be. You know, we're ready for the silent count. We obviously practice silent count all week. So I don't know. I think we got to get there on Sunday and see what it looks like. Obviously, as many people in brown and orange as we can get. But I'm as curious as anybody to see exactly how many people are in there.
Is he still going as strong as ever, and how does he affect, you know, what offenses try to do it?
Yeah, he has not lost any step, any twitch, any speed, anything like that. He's still rushing at an extremely high level. He affects the quarterback, affects the game. You have to pay very close attention to him. He's a very, very good player.